Hello and welcome to Sim Strategy Gaming. I'm Sim. This episode will be about the seventh scenario of Railway Empire 2. We find ourselves in the American Southwest in the 1880s, and we are going to build the southern route connecting California with the eastern United States. This map is definitely hard. Lots of steep mountains, small cities, and a snide competitor as well as challenging mission objectives. But most of all, it will be hard to make money on this small, awkward map with lots of small settlements all over. But then there are a few tricks and strategies that will help us along. And first of all, on this map, we have all these existing rails, and some of it cannot be deleted. I always would suggest that to delete everything that is already built by the computer. The computer builds it along these terrain lines and such, and make for some kind of awkward tracks. Better traffic to build a system of your own. And then, of course, to raise as much money in the beginning as possible, delete everything before you apply for issue any bonds. And but also on this map, it's a little interesting trick here. If one looks at the stations, one should check on these things. Say with Denver, where is Denver? Denver is here, way outside the zone where we are allowed to build. This is not really part of our network. This is part of our investors' network or something. Someone can go in here and then delete this, and that's almost 80,000, and then we're 2 as well. And now we have more than 150,000 to Pekka. And that's actually more than 200,000 extra. And that's make for something more that we can build. We can build a little line here, for example, outsmart our competitor a bit. And other than that, one can first of all, it's a very smart thing to have a look at the tech and see if it goes a little bit back. These 2 techs one can buy. It's only 100 for each. And then this one raises the amount of bonds by an additional 10%. So then one can go in here and get more than 1 million, way more than 1 million extra. And that makes for a sort of a nice, good start. Going through, of course, I would say all the connection bonuses, but I left out this one. One needs the iron for the mission objectives, surely. And connection bonuses are very important, but this is only 100,000. And say the only thing that might be more important than connection bonuses is to build a proper system and to have all these cities now connected. Santa Fe, Albuquerque down to El Paso, and the same down to Deming. 2 of these lines properly separated like this. That's most important, and also connect this to the different resources down here. This corn resource here is not really needed because we already have a corn resource up here. So this is mostly for the connection bonus. Might delete this later and then perhaps hope for another connection bonus later if I just leave that be. There is a tiny bit of demand from here after the corn has been delivered from this northern corn farm. So that will cause perhaps for a connection bonus to pop up at some later point. Pointing out one little thing is that I couldn't really afford, or now I can afford with the deletion that I made to build this the warehouse here, and then for supply of these goods. But it's not really needed to just have the connection bonuses, or very in the beginning. So because these farms, these resources, they supply the city first, and then further on when the city has fulfilled the demand, the warehouse will be used to bring the goods further on up. But still, I think that with the money that I made, rather delete this warehouse. And then I would build for a line here on the inside. So the trick to this level, going to be hard to place it, but then down here, yes, that would be nice. And then one station there, And then there's already one station here, and then the first thing I'm going to do as soon as I get some money is to build something in between here. This will surely, yes, one can build it through the mountains. Actually, yeah, no tunnels. 2% incline, that is nothing. And this will be a super path. Our competitor is now going all the way around here, much more than 25% longer than this. He will have no traffic at all. I'm not really competing now. I'm more like just stealing all the passengers if I build this one, which I will build in a little while. So then, 18 months later, we have been able actually to start earning a little bit of money, almost $500,000 a week. That will sort of make us to complete the mission objectives much more easily. Money is sort of the crucial factor here. Even though it doesn't give us any points, it gives us the opportunity to get these mission objectives done early. And let's have a look at that. Delivering the iron to Santa Fe, not really a big problem. Just have to connect to that connection bonus iron resource up north. And then coal, same thing. Just expand a little bit, and then coals come by. We can ship it through warehouses mostly. Flagstaff, conquering that, and then also this route to Anita, and how to conquer that from Santa Fe here up to Parker, where we get the iron resource, and then further on up all of this track here. And then, of course, the most perhaps intuitive way would just be to build straight down here. But that would make for an enormous bridge. I tried to build that, but then at this point it is not really feasible and such, and then one might think that this route is too long or perhaps too steep, or it really is something. But then looking at these trains now, they actually got an express bonus, because and then it's traveling 71 kilometers right straight uphill with 4 wagons full, because it is the J class and it has very good tractive power. So then tractive power is much more important in many ways. This say with the more advanced Glen here, with half the tractive power but higher speed, just a little bit higher speed but much lower tractive power, would be much slower uphill. And also this one, even though this is a superb locomotive, absolutely fantastic, no particular need to upgrade any further actually. Still, if there are about there are points at the track where there are 7, 8, 9, 10 perhaps even degrees of incline, and the J class would be superior. And never mind if it is a freight line or a mixed line or a passenger line. It depends on the incline. Of course, passengers express goods are not so heavy, so it's much easier for any train to go up this hill here, because there are only express goods being carried up to Anita. No heavy goods are coming up this way. So one can keep that in mind. But the most important thing is that the trains don't come into this grinding halt when they have too much too heavy freight, too heavy wagons, and then too little tractive power. That would really ruin everything. And then I bought this resource up here, but I'm not really sure that if that was a good investment. There is really no need for iron other than to complete these mission objectives, and 8 loads of iron, that is just one full train. And then I also bought the coal resource here, but that's, 2 full train loads, and then there wasn't any really point in buying it. I did it because I was a little anxious about mission objectives, and then thought perhaps then it would be good to have it, but usually not. It's better to just leave it natural and concentrate on transport and not so much on production. There are also a lot of other, looking at the train lines and such, we can see that actually it's very easy on this map to achieve express lines, because one doesn't have to take speed into consideration so much. take more the tractive power and then make sure that it just has enough. But I try to put up some of these glens as well, perhaps have some dedicated passenger lines there. You put on some of these, but they cost money. And then it's not so much. There are of course a lot of express goods here, but not so much. This is more of a freight level, and one can earn extra money on some of these goods, the coal, the iron, the gold up here, and copper is also introduced. One can earn a little bit extra money on these things, but I think I would just recommend to go for mixed lines that have just enough tractive power. Say with this line that I built here, Santa Fe and into Flagstaff, and then further on such, there is a kind of really a high incline here. So to make sure that it has enough tractive power all the time. And take a note on this Kingman Tuscan Yuma circular thing. It is a circle, and often it is more less expensive to build it like this, where all of these end stations end up like this. And for 4-lane tracks, this is actually a more effective solution because it now has access to this 4-lane gridiron here, which are better when they are placed at an end station. That gives one can have a look at that. But even though they are a bit long and such, they go very fine. And then here as well, Flagstaff is also connected to this circle, a little long tentacle thing here. But in order for the Kingman Tuscan route not to be too long, there will be a hotel up here in Nolan, which will be receiving plenty of passengers and really going very well. And then one more point on this, these lines and such. There would be, of course, always bridges, but the lower the bridges, the less the cost. So it's not the cost of the distance of the bridge; it's more the cost of every one of these little squares going here. And then, of course, the longer the bridge, the more squares in this direction. But then, if one has a long bridge, just bump it down one step would be make for many all of these squares underneath to disappear, and therefore make for a much lower cost. Higher bridges, much higher cost. Low bridges can be done easily. It's not actually it's not all of these blue areas cost very much. Some of them are kind of cheap. And then later on, one can come back again and say with here, for example, this one could be straighter and better and such as a very low bridge, but a very high incline then. And I can come back later when I have more money and then make this straighter, going perhaps making for a proper bridge over there. And then say again with Anita and such, to be super certain that you place, look at this, not necessarily just look at the straightest line down there, but properly place it so you can see that it's very low where it's coming out here. It's kind of hard to see, but just 2-3 degrees up there, and then it can build for a little ramp down there and such. If I build it more like just a few degrees down there, this would be much harder. We're just gonna boom fall right down into this cauldron thing here, this valley. But here there is this path around, following the contour lines, slowly falling around and down and down and down. And it might look awkward, but it makes for an express line. The trick on this map, and to sort of tackle our competitor, first we must tackle the mountain, and then our competitor is to build stations on both sides of him. He has the station in the middle, and I have one north, El Paso North, and one El Paso South. And so then there will be warehouses, and some of the goods can sort of skip over his line here, and some of the goods might just stay on the line. That would depend. And it's good to have several stations, because then one can choose which warehouse it goes into and which one it should not go. And then this line here is sort of separate. It's a separate system. These two lines go together here in Albuquerque, but El Paso, Deming, Tuscan, Yuma, and then further on it will be going all the way up to San Francisco at some point. It's separated from it, and then you have this Kingman circle, which connects to Flagstaff, and then a new line going from Flagstaff to Santa Fe to make for these separate systems. And also the systems that we began with, the Santa Fe Albuquerque Deming and the Santa Fe Albuquerque El Paso. And so then, after perhaps almost 3 years, a little more than 2.5, we have achieved all our mission objectives and made a pretty decent score on this very hard level. It's not so hard to achieve a decent score. As long as you just complete the level, you will be modified by difficulty by 1.5, which kind of comes along nice and gives a good score. But let's see how we did this. Quick look at the mission objectives first, perhaps, and see that we made it all. The passengers to Anita and these things we already done. And then there was this express rail line between Santa Fe and Los Angeles. And then to Grove, Los Angeles and deliver the copper. And further on, we have completed all the optional tasks of founding Grand Junction and the express, super long express status between El Paso and San Francisco. So let's have a look at this. The one dumb thing I did, I always do something dumb, and no matter how many times you play this, you still end up doing something wrong. I was lagging a bit behind because I updated this line. I built it into a 4-lane track, and then I had to delete something, and then I deleted the track that the express train was on at that very moment. So then that had to restart and go all the way back, and then it has to go back and forth in order to achieve the express status. I did it like this, just have a train going pretty straight from San Francisco to El Paso, just back and forth, but also dropping in on Yuma because it needs to resupply, and then make sure that this train isn't blocked by any others, perhaps delete or do whatever to make sure that going straight ahead. With the mission objective to grow Los Angeles, it's important that it's only up to 35,000. And up to 35,000, that is just with a little bit more advanced goods, the milk, the carrots, the fruit is coming into play. Before 35,000, it is only the basic goods that are needed. And many of these basic goods were actually supplied by my competitor. And then there is no particular point in giving those extra goods. They at least in the beginning when I first reached Los Angeles, then Yamaha was supplying Los Angeles, even though I didn't. I only had this line first, and then I built the southern route later. But that wasn't so much of a problem because Yamaha was supplying Los Angeles with cloth anyways, and the city grew nicely. So sometimes our competitors are helpful as well. They're not only snide and annoying, they can be taken advantage of as well. Built this little gold line. I realized that there wasn't really any point in buying this, and it was ridiculously 25 million credits. That's sort of a lot. And even before it started having demand, it was already 1.5 million. And I thought that money would be surely better spent on rails. This rail here, it's very, very, very steep, super fantastically steep. And I wonder if the trains are actually able to go up here at all. But yes, because it's always empty. And then it isn't so much of a problem, and the only heavy loads come downwards. So that would just be absolutely fine. Having a look at this Flagstaff now, I divided that into 3 different stations. There is one station here with mostly only resources, but also connecting to this little extra line here that has both resources and a hotel. Make for a little extra sneaky path over here. But then there's always this is the long line. This is the line that goes all the way from Santa Fe to Los Angeles. And would I be able to have any freight on that? Of course, I could make it into an express line. That wouldn't be so bad. But then looking at the flow of goods and such, one can see that Wheat here is supplied in many places, not so much of a problem. Nice. Have to go over, have a look at these things. Flagstaff here, yes, comes in nicely. No back and forth tendencies, but okay. Say with the carrots, I just had this one carrot resource up here, and then finally I got a new carrot resource north of Los Angeles, and I surely wanted to have that in here. Now the lines are neat, but then what I had to do in the end was to go all the way up to San Francisco and then further on down here, and then from San Francisco to El Paso on this ridiculously long super express line here. We have both an express and a mixed line. But because if I were to take the carrots in here, where actually I wanted it, that would make for a mess. Now carrots are going back and forth like this and being supplied in all different directions, and I can further increase on this mess if I were to put carrots on here as well. Now this would break down the system entirely, and to be sure that one doesn't have these situations, the thing would be to have separate these stations properly and to have long lines going in on one set of stations and the circles going on another set of stations. Very important on this map, remember the immigration offices and immigration bonuses. Los Angeles, it can have the immigration office at 30,000, and then the last 5,000 to achieve the mission objective would be much faster. See, I've forgotten one. To have this, remember this, to look at this, and also perhaps look at business opportunities. Money is coming so slow on this map, so there isn't so many opportunities to be buying anything else. Grand Junction came on really nice, just built an extra little line, had this Anita line already, and then can just add sort of a parallel to it. Very nice tunnel coming here. And have a look at this, tunnel straight over. Not so expensive in the end, we're almost earning $1 million a week. And that makes for good revenues, and we can complete a little bit more missions. Grand Junction, very nicely situated for growing, has wheat right here. Lumber, a little bit difficult to perhaps get all the lumber coming in effectively enough, but still, there's lumber down here and such, and meat in Santa Fe. So no big problems there. So as long as one can just get up into the mountains there. Wasn't any particular need to develop these regions, so I just kind of skipped on that. A little bit of note on the tech. We have now access to this more or less fabulous express trains. But then if I were to choose them now, I would lose all the nice express bonuses that I already have on my Shay classes, my freight trains, and also a lot of these mixed trains and such. They have express bonuses, and then as soon as I make something nicer and people recognize this, then I might lose on that bonus. And have a quick last look at our budget, perhaps. See that we are steadily growing, and a little bit much traffic jams there, I see, but then so much to take care of. Steadily growing, but not so much. This is going a bit up and down and such, and this is a very hard level to make money on. But we are growing much more than our competitors, also having problems, and then mission objectives are not that super hard. So in the end, one can make this. Can look at this copper route, for example, going copper down here and then just filling up this warehouse, and then being brought onto the main line and then down to Santa Fe. No particular reason to have a dedicated line going straight over there. That would be way too long. So we sort of put it on the main line and then take it from there. Well, I guess that pretty much sums it up. One can feel free to like and subscribe and leave some comments, and then I hope to see you next time, and goodbye.